Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see a full house.
Absolutely.
And I tell you what, I'm very, very impressed to see all you here representing the kids. That's fantastic. It's much needed today. We're going to begin up with our invocation from Pastor Larry Lane of the Oak Hill Church of the Nazarene. Will we all stand, please?
Let's pray together. Almighty God, we give you thanks today for this council, for this, the fact that we come and bring these business concerns and considerations to you and ask for your guidance and your direction in this place. And God, there's lots of activity that's going on. There's a lot of people here today to present, to represent, to support. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And Father, if we're honest, we also would acknowledge that there are many agendas here today beyond the official one, but there's just one Oak Hill. So God, I pray that our commitment to the unity of our city would be greater than our commitment to our personal agendas. And that not that every agenda would be swept under the rug, but God, that it would be tempered with patience and honor and with due process, so that would lead the way. And I pray today, God, that your wisdom would abound in this place, that courage would rise up where something needs to be spoken, and that patience and gentleness would rise up where it needs to be calmed. And I pray this all in the name of Jesus, that you would be honored and glorified, and that our city would benefit. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Lane. I now call to order this City Council meeting of Oak Hill, West Virginia, April 13th, 2026. Our clerk will give our roll call.
Mayor Charles Briscoe.
Here.
Bill Hannabass.
Here.
Chris Gill.
Here.
PJ Elder.
Here.
Tim Buskus.
Here.
Diane Janey.
Here.
Roger Evans.
Here.
And Terry Van Busker.
Here.
Thank you. You all have read your minutes. May we begin the voting process on the approval of the minutes? May I have a motion, please?
I'll move to accept the minutes as presented.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. May we do the same for our treasurer's report?
Mayor, I'll move to accept the treasurer's report.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to accept the treasurer's report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. We do not have any correspondence, so we will move on to our citizens' comments. Chris Burford, you are up first, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Hopefully won't take 3 minutes. Hello, everyone. Again, my name's Chris Burford. I met you once already. I'm just making some rounds back through again.
You go to the mic.
Yes.
They won't hear. They won't hear you online if you
Yeah,
Okay.
you can start over.
Okay. I'll start. My name's Chris Burford. Run for county commission. Met with you once already. Had the pleasure of working with some of you on numerous projects. I don't want to take up all your time, but I did want to stop in here again to say hi. Still out there, still trying. I've always been a worker. That's just what I am. Engineering, surveying, construction, ever since I graduated from West Virginia Tech. Co-owner of New River Engineers currently. Got 78 people. We keep them real busy, and all we work on is infrastructure, construction, grants, seeking money, federal funding. I work with Leslie on a lot of stuff. I want to be able to bring it to the county. I don't have a personal agenda. I don't need the extra money. I don't need the insurance. I'm not looking for a retirement job. I see a need for people of Fayette County, and I want to help them. And if they elect me in there, God blesses me on the 12th, and I'll work my hind end off for you for 6 years and do everything I can. I will only be one. If there's things going on, I'll make the public informed. I'll let them know, hey, this is what's going on. This is why I voted no on this. This is why I voted yes on this. I care for the county. I care for all the people, and I've been invested here my whole life, so look forward to serving you. So,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burford. Our second speaker will be Barry Christ from Anstead. He's also running for County Commission.
Well, hello, Mayor, and thank you and the council for having me today. I appreciate it. And I looked at your agenda, and I seen it's quite lengthy, so I'm sure brevity is of the essence. So if I go past like 30 minutes or something, somebody nod at me, and I'll sit right down. Actually, I just want to let you know I am also running for the County Commission. I'm born and raised here in Fayette County. My wife's born and raised here in Fayette County. Actually, my grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents from Fayette County. So you can see my roots run very deep in Fayette County. Have 3 sons, which I feel like I'm super blessed because we have 3 sons who we raised in Fayette County. They work in Fayette County. They pay taxes in Fayette County. And the greatest thing of all is they're raising their families in Fayette County. And I'll speak to that just a second here later. A little bit about my career. I've spent 35 years in the school system, first 10 teaching, and then I moved over into the administrative world. Actually, my first administrative assignment was out here at Oak Hill High School. The late, great Gary Ray gave me an opportunity to be an assistant principal for him, so I did that for a few years. Moved to Nuttall Middle School, spent about 10 years there, then came full circle back to Oak Hill and spent the last 17 years of my career running the Career Technical School, Fed Institute of Technology, where we made the school actually a national model school where people from other states actually come here and seen how we did things. And very proud of our accomplishments there. And so that's kind of where I get into the whole county commission thing. When you do that stuff your whole life, you see things that you just, you can't get that service out of your system. I've served parents, I've served their grandparents, the kids, and it's something that you just kind of gets in your blood and it's hard to get out. So on May 12th, when you're thinking about who you're going to vote for, I hope you will think back at my career at FIT, my career in administration, and say to yourself, you know what, that Barry Christ, he did his job with integrity. He did his job with transparency. He was a good steward of taxpayers' dollars. And I think Barry Christ would make a good county commissioner, and I would surely love to have your vote. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christ. Marcy, we meet again. Didn't we just do this a week ago? Not quite.
I'm just here to remind you.
Oh, okay, good.
Mayor Briscoe, I do thank you, and Mr. Elder and Mr. Evans for coming to our vigil, which was for acknowledgement of child prevention, child cruelty prevention, child abuse prevention month. And it was very meaningful to all of us, and I thank you again. But what I did want to talk to you about is that Just for Kids is a trauma-informed, victim-centered child advocacy center. And for those of you who don't know, we take care of and address the issues of children who have been abused, sexually abused, neglected. And one of the most important things that Dr. Johnson, who is our executive director, is coming up with is the child trafficking going on in Raleigh and Fayette County. We are funded simply through grants and the generosity of those we serve. And that's why I'm here to talk to you. We would love your support financially because, as you know, government dollars, grant dollars, and everything are completely up for grabs. They are lessening, and it is our hope to always make sure, my only job as president of the board of directors is to make sure that this is a fiscally sound entity, and it's critical. And I find it interesting that according to your statistics in 2026, your population was about 7,500, I think it says, of which 1,900 children are here. And those are 1,900 children under the age of 15. Last year, Just for Kids did 261 interviews, forensic interviews of children who have been abused or sexually abused or neglected. That's not counting the children that we see for whom they do trauma-informed therapy. This year, to date, this is the beginning of April, mid-April, they have done 103 interviews of which 63 were from Fayette County, which is 60% of the interviews we're doing. That puts Just for Kids on track for doing 412 interviews this year. It's a horrifying, terrifying number. And I really would hope that you hear this very carefully. This is a group of professional people, and there are only 10 of them, who serve Raleigh and Fayette County and do everything and anything in their power to provide a safe, comforting, trauma-informed, child care, victim-centered place for them to come tell their story. And they've done it in a way that we now have a room. We are part of a multidisciplinary team that includes prosecutorial, law enforcement, child protective services, and everybody's in one room listening to the child. Is that my 3 minutes?
It is.
I'm
Go
dead?
ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay. Where child gets to tell their story one time because they've learned that every time the child tells the story, it is equally as traumatizing as the trauma itself. So they see them, they interview them carefully, forensically. It's filmed, it's taped, and all the other team members are in another room watching so the child doesn't have to tell the story again. And any other questions that come forward, the interviewer comes out, makes sure that there's nothing missing, and the child is then allowed to stay and play with our new therapy dog. Her name is Penny Lively, and she's already served her purpose by calming 2 children dramatically, and it's very exciting to us. But again, I want the numbers that we have suggested to you that are really frightening, and I can't give you Oak Hill numbers because that would be a little bit too much information and too much to disclose. Just for Kids is here to take care of 100% of your 1,700 children, to lend help, support, advocacy, and crisis intervention for any of them that need it. We're asking for your financial support. One of the things we are now doing is going to the people that we serve, asking for your financial support. For instance, Beckley, for example, has just put us on, not just last year, put us on their budget as a line item for relative to their public safety board numbers, because that's what it is, it's public safety. I would like to tell you that we are somehow uniquely blessed to have somebody like Dr. Johnson as our executive director. She was just asked to speak at the United Nations Summit in Vienna, Austria, about child trafficking in rural areas. This is the people you have here to help you. Why we have her is beyond me. It's God's intervention. But nonetheless, I think it's important for you to know that that's the staff that you have serving your children, and we would love for you to consider financial support for us, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer any questions, as is Dr. Johnson, so if you have any questions for what I just said, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anyone? All right.
Would anybody like to know how much money we'd like you to give us? Or are you just ignoring my address?
No, we appreciate your address. We really
Actually,
do.
we were considering asking you for $25,000 annually to help support, which works out to about maybe $12 for each of your children per year. Of the children that... Another important statistic that I think you need to know is that only 1 in 10 children tell of their abuse. So if you take the number of children that we see and how many children are out there still potentially suffering, the numbers just, I don't want you to have to even think about them, just sleep on them, frankly, but it's a terrifying number. It's terrifying to me, and that's why I do what I do, but I'm asking you to do what you need to do for your children. So,
Can any of this that has happened to these kids, can any of it be traced back to like substance abuse?
Oh my God.
Yes.
And can you have like documentation to prove that? Not
We
just
actually do. So
Can you
in
come,
the,
ma'am?
yeah, sorry. In the state of West Virginia, our children are 4 times more likely to be exposed to drug endangerment. we capture all of those numbers in our data system. So whenever we have a family that comes in, we make sure that we document if there's any disclosure of drug exposure or any type of drug endangerment within the home. So they might not have come to see us because of the drugs, but they were somehow brought into the equation. We're able to capture those numbers and to share those numbers if needed. But the state of West Virginia, their children are 4 times higher, at a higher risk of drug endangerment than the rest of the United States.
And that, again, with the multidisciplinary team, the sheriff's department, the troopers who do some of the investigation, find some of this paraphernalia. And again, that's a documentation that comes part of it too.
So part of the presentation that I gave at the United Nations was on familial trafficking, and that's one of the major issues that we have here, specifically in Fayette County, but also in Raleigh County. We serve both, and that's, it is what it sounds like, unfortunately. It's when families utilize their children as a means to gain access to drugs, so they then expose their children to sexual abuse in that manner.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's been
ladies.
particularly nice to speak, and since you're doing a proclamation of the Week of the Young Child.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. All right, and that is up next, and we have Josie Moore. You want to just meet me up front here? And read that.
There are a lot of people here as well for that.
Oh, okay. Well, you can share the glory with them if you like, or.
Just good. Everybody else will pick it up except the office.
Stop it. Proclamation, Week of the Young Child, April 11th through the 17th, 2026. Whereas the first years of a child's life are critical to brain development and lay the foundation for lifelong learning, behavior, and health, and whereas high-quality, early childhood programs provide important benefits to children, families, and the local economy, and whereas in West Virginia, approximately 66% of children have all available parents in the workforce, highlighting the need for reliable child care and working families. And whereas approximately 45% of children under the age of 6 in West Virginia and 33% in Fayette County need but cannot access licensed child care. And whereas a strong early child care system depends on skilled and dedicated educators who support children during their most critical years of development. And whereas working families need sufficient high-quality child care spaces beginning at birth to be available in the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Oak Hill does hereby proclaim April 11th through the 17th, 2026 as the Week of the Young Child, and recognizes the importance of early childhood education and child care in the community. In witness whereof, I have hereby unto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Oak Hill to be affixed this 13th day of April 2026. Mayor Charles Briscoe. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Okay, we are now moving into new, new business. You know, when you're on the radio and you lose your voice, you can just call off, but not tonight. Our new business, FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program Agreement, and we're looking to approve and a signature for subrecipient agreement.
That's correct. So I had sent you all some information via email about this, and also put all the information in the SharePoint packet. In general, this is the grant for the non-properties in Minden. I think Demita had worked with Leslie on this back in 2023 to do the initial application. It's a voluntary program, so the residents would apply for this. Essentially, it will include a buyout based upon their appraised value. And then should they accept that, it'll move forward. It'll pay them that cost, and then demolish the property. The property will subsequently be transferred to the city ownership, and nothing can be built on it from then on. That's kind of the overall of this grant. So we've been awarded the funds for these 9 properties, and so this particular item is to accept that grant, sign the agreement so that we can move forward with that. And Region 4 is administering the grant for us on this, so that's been a blessing for sure. And so we're here tonight, and Leslie's here, and she can answer some questions if we have any, to sign the agreement.
So the residents in Minden that applied for the buyout are getting the buyout?
Yes, these are the 9 properties, and it was voluntary. They did have to make application for this.
Okay.
And now that, again, that buyout is going to be based upon the appraised value of the property as determined by an appraiser. They can opt out if they're not acceptable to the appraised value that's presented to them.
Haven't they provided some appraisals already?
They do have, the appraisals are done, and we have those documents. They're in all of our files.
Leslie Taylor, Region 4 Planning and Development Council. We do have all the appraisals for the properties. If the property owner, once they view that appraisal, if they're not satisfied with it, they can seek an appraisal at their own expense that is not reimbursable by the project.
Now, that you said there was 9, was everyone given an opportunity?
They were.
Okay.
But it had to be, some weren't eligible to because of the zone they were in, the flood zone they were in.
Correct. Or it could be not in a flood zone, but damaged by repetitive flooding.
Okay.
And there's a grant that'll pay for all of that.
There is. There's a FEMA grant called the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. The federal share is 75%. The state of West Virginia is paying the other 25%. So it's at no cost to the city or any of the residents that are being bought out.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I'll motion that we accept the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program approval.
I second.
Yeah.
Okay, one other thing, just to make it clear, when this buyout occurs, if all 9 agree and all 9 properties or however many, that property will become property of the city of Oak Hill after the structure's demolished, and the city will have to maintain that property.
That's correct. And as part of the application, council had to approve a maintenance agreement for that. Those are things that we had to get in the beginning when the application phase, because FEMA wanted to know that the city would maintain those properties, keep them free of debris and grass and weeds. So we already have a signed maintenance agreement. Did I send that to you?
You did. It's in all of our documents.
Okay.
There was a lot of documents in there in that folder. They start to pile up pretty quickly.
And I believe this started before 23.
It may have, I think the applications,
The applications were due earlier than that. We had started having our first public meetings in '22, but the application didn't come to fruition until
Okay.
October of '23.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Well, we have a motion to accept the hazard mitigation grant. All those in favor? Thank you, Tim.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Leslie. All right, item number 2 of new business, to create interest-bearing, no-fee bank account solely for FEMA project funds.
so we're required to have this particular interest-bearing, no-fee bank account for the project that we just discussed for those funds, so that it doesn't get commingled with other funds. So it's just a formality. We just need approval to go ahead and create that bank account.
I'll motion to create an interest-bearing, no-fee bank account solely for this FEMA grant.
Second.
that.
We have a motion and a second to create an interest-bearing, no-fee bank account solely for FEMA project funds. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried as well. Number 3, soft cost grant agreement for Industrial Park and the Blake Street Sewer Project.
Okay, so this is this pertains to the Industrial Park and Blake Street Sewer Project that we're currently spinning up right now. This will replace it's behind the Street Department garage that serves that industrial park. We have a package plant that is failing. It's on its last leg. It has been for a number of years. I think there's been several efforts to try to replace that. We're finally in a position to do so, and so we're working to replace that as part of this project. It'll be replaced with a lift station, so it'll be a pump, and that sewer will be pumped from that location instead of treated there, which is what it is now with the package plant. It'll be pumped up to a point where it can gravity feed to our sewer treatment plant. So that's part of the project. The other part is some enhancements back here behind Chase Bank, along Blake Street, all along that area. So that's 2 areas this project is working on. This particular soft cost grant is from the Infrastructure and Jobs Development Council. It's going to essentially reimburse us $75,000 that we are purchasing the Pew property behind the Public Works garage. And this is going to reimburse us the full cost of that, because we'll be running, it's for the purpose of being able to run the sewer line across it and be able to stage and store equipment pertaining to that project. So we requested it with the help of Region 4 and Thrasher, and they've granted that to us. So, and that's going to be for $75,000, and will allow us, it'll essentially reimburse us for the purchase of that property. And so we've got the agreement here. We'll be executing the agreement here, would be the request that we go ahead and sign and accept those funds. Any questions on that? After this approval, just for your awareness, we've already gotten approval from the Sanitary Board to go ahead and expend the funds, because we do have to purchase the property prior to clearing title for this project. And so it is my hope to close out that deal and issue the funds and record the deed for that property by the end of the week. So we should have that within our ownership by the end of the week. And then this will ultimately, when we're eligible to do the withdrawal of this $75,000, I think it's within about 90 days, potentially.
We'll do it at the next sanitary board meeting.
Oh, okay, there we go. As soon as the next sanitary board meeting, we'll go ahead and submit the reimbursement on this grant.
Mayor, I'll move to accept the soft grant agreement for the Industrial Park Blake Street Sewer Project.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to accept the grant agreement for the Industrial Park and the Blake Street Sewer Project. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 4 is to create a non-interest-bearing, no-fee account solely for Industrial Park and Blake Street project funds.
Okay, so this, and I just want to double check with Leslie, because one of these was interest-bearing, one was non-interest-bearing. So this is correct, right? Non-interest-bearing, no-fee account. So again, same as item number 2 we did, except this is a bank account solely for the IJDC soft cost grant funds. So we just need a motion to allow us to create that account.
I move to create a non-interest bearing, no fee account solely for the industrial park / Blake Street project funds.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to create a non-interest-bearing, no-fee account solely for Industrial Park and Blake Street project funds. All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me. All opposed? That motion is carried. Number 5, the approval of liquidation of the fire engine.
Okay, so this pertains to, you all may recall, we are purchasing, in the process of purchasing, a brand-new fire engine. That's the one the Fayette County Commission with the fire levy will be distributing funds to us in the amount of $200,000 a year over the course of 4 years. So in speaking with Chief Richardson, he would like to proactively set about liquidating the fire engine that one will be replacing. And then we can go ahead and get that off the books and have the funds from the proceeds for the sale of that to be used for outfitting the new engine with the equipment that they need for that. In the interim, they do have a reserve engine that we are eligible to use. And Tim, were you still going to go Thursday at the business meeting for the Fire Association and get their official, or have you already received?
Yes, actually, we did that this last Thursday.
Okay.
And that's been consummated.
Okay.
We obtained insurance through
Okay.
the city's program, and that's all covered. We actually have an engine that's out of service now, pre-meditating what's transpired here. But we have an engine that has to be repaired, so we brought the reserve in early, which has replaced that truck while it's being repaired. And ultimately, when we liquidate this engine, this will be in its place till our new engine is delivered, which we anticipate that to be approximately in November. So what we're looking at, the funds that would be received for the sale of this, we will be actually using approximately $100,000 out of the state insurance fund. So this funding, we're not sure what the number will be, but we could use it for the difference in the purchase or equipping the new engine when it comes online. So it's just we're moving ahead, anticipating what we need to do coming November. So we feel confident that everything will move ahead as it should be in regard to this liquidation and the bringing on of the new equipment.
And when would this be up for a liquidation?
When you give us the green light, we'll probably start the process of advertising at that time.
Okay.
We already have several departments through just conversation that are very interested in the truck.
Mayor, I'll make that motion for approval of liquidation of fire engine.
I second
that.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the liquidation of our fire engine. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Motion's carried. Thank you, Chief. Item number 6, we have a structural inspection board vacancy.
Yes, we do. And excuse me, per the municipal code, structural inspection board shall consist of the mayor, city manager, city engineer, and 1 member at large. We currently do not have a member at large serving on the structural inspection board. It was previously Terry Dameron. His appointment evidently expired. It looks like it runs with the term of council, and that would have expired at the term of the last council. No one has been reappointed in the place for the at-large member. So we spoke to Mr. Dameron today, in fact, and he has expressed interest, should council desire to reappoint him as the member at large to that board. He did express interest that he would like to do that if council chose to appoint him, unless you, of course, have any other options or suggestions for that. Now, unlike some of the boards, this one does not specifically state that person or the members of the board must reside within the city. And he does not, Mr. Dameron does not reside within the city, but it appears that he can still serve on that board with the lack of specification of that.
He was a long time ago.
Well, I'll just make the motion to accept Terry Dameron if he wants to do that.
I'll second that.
All right. We have a motion and a second to appoint Terry Dameron to our Structural Inspection Board. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you very much. Item number 7 is discussion on the hotel tax fire fee.
Okay, I think where this was left off at the last meeting was that we understood that Fayetteville may be implementing this hotel tax fire fee or emergency services fee. It's kind of known by a couple of different names depending on where you look. I've talked to Matt. We've had some conversations with Carl Harris, the city attorney there as well. They're not 100% moving forward at the moment. They're still trying to figure out exactly where they are with this and what it's looking like. And Tim Buskus, Councilman Buskus, had sent some information from Wheeling. I think you had gotten that. So I did look at that, and there's as we were looking into that, we have to be careful. There's two different distinctions. There's a fire service fee, correct, and then we have this hotel tax fire fee. And so the difference is what Wheeling has in place, as we dug into that, is a fire service fee for its residents and businesses. They pay an annual fee for fire service. It's essentially in lieu of a levy. That is the municipal fire service fee. And that's not what, as I understand, that is not the intent of what Fayetteville is trying to do, nor do I understand it to be the intent of what was brought before council for us to look at.
Correct.
So we did find out that Bridgeport does in fact have an ordinance that does just what we're talking about, which is the hotel fire service fee. They call it emergency services fee, and I did put a copy of that ordinance in SharePoint for you all to look at. So I feel like it's fairly well written. It goes. They've stepped it in. They actually put it into place last March. And the first year, it talks about a $3 per night fee for every hotel room that is occupied. And then the next year, it steps up to $4.50, and the next year, it steps up to $6. So they tiered it in over a 3-year period. So we can certainly look at doing something like that. I do feel like the next steps, Tim and I have discussed very extensively about this, and I feel like potentially we need to have our attorney review Bridgeport's example ordinance and determine, one, is that something that we can implement? One big difference between us and Bridgeport does implement a fire fee within the municipality in addition to this. So they have, as I understand, a fire fee for all residents and businesses, whereas we do not. So we need to make sure that this is not a rider onto theirs that they're allowed to do, whereas we're not. And I think that's where we can maybe have Mr. Fowle dig into some of the state code and make sure that this is something that we are eligible to implement, and there's no roadblocks that would prevent us from doing so.
So what do we need to make a motion? Do we have Mr. Fowle look over that? Is that what we're needing to do? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I feel like we are at the moment. We can certainly have further discussions about it. We can discuss it further here as well tonight. If you have questions specifically that you'd like me to seek answers for, I can certainly do so.
Well, I would like for us to pursue it, but I also like for us to pursue it like what you're doing, along with Fayetteville, so that both municipalities, being border and have the same hotels within a mile of each other, are both on the same page.
Yeah.
And both. If it was to go, we're doing the same thing.
It is, and at some point we'll have to get to the point where we decide: do we let them do it first, or do we do it first? Because I think we may be in a situation where we're both looking to each other to see whoever implements it first, if it's kind of mirroring what the other one wants to do.
Well, and I agree with Chris, but I think that to have Bill look it over and make sure that we wouldn't be, breaking any rules or any laws would probably be the most important thing to do at this point in time before we even discuss going any further.
I agree. Yeah, and that's why I say I feel like now would be a good time to review Bridgeport. We table this for at least another month see if we have time to review Bridgeport's and see if that's even an option for us. And then there's a couple of things as far as how you would want to structure that. Do we want to tier it? If it is something that we can do, would you want to tier it over a couple of years, or would you want to implement a flat fee starting out? So there's things like that that would need to be discussed.
And I think you also need to consider whether you want to charge by night or by individual that checks in the motel.
Oh. Now, I know the Bridgeport one is per occupied room.
Okay.
But that's a good point.
Well, I think that was actually what Mr.
per
Gilda was
occupied.
talking about when we first started talking about this, was per room, not per individual.
Yeah, per room.
I think that would be
Yeah.
the better bet. I mean, you go the other way, I think we're going to end up into a whole lot more of a mess than per every room. If that's something we need to make a motion to have Bill check that and then table it until I'll make that motion that Mr. Fowle look into and see whether or not we will be within the legal guidelines of the state and the county. And then with that being said, I'd also make a motion that we table it until we get further information from Mr. Fowle.
May we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to have.
Does anybody know? I mean, I know I asked about it, and Chief Richardson said that it did not include Airbnbs because it came about before the popularity of Airbnbs. But I think it's obvious that it's not. It's inherently unfair.
Yes.
It is.
When you have lodging with Airbnbs that aren't going to be taxed, and you have hotels that are going to be taxed and motels. So I think it's inherently unfair, and I think the state probably would address that in legislation. I didn't hear anything about it this term, but
Well, that is one thing to specify. So there was a House bill that was on the floor this year that specified a per night room. That house, or per night fee that was available. That House bill did not pass. I verified that. I spoke to Elliot Pritt earlier this week about that. So the bill that specifies this did not pass. So Bridgeport's, and this is something that I feel like is one of the reasons why we need to have Mr. Fowle look at it. Bridgeport is doing this under the state code that allows for a fire service fee. There's nothing specifically that I'm aware of, and I also spoke with Carl Harris, the Fayetteville town attorney, as to where they were in the process. He reiterated that there's nothing that specifies right now a per night fee on hotels. Oh.
okay.
So that changed. I was under the impression initially that there was new statutes that passed this year that specified this per night fee, but I have confirmed that bill did not pass.
Okay, so yeah, we need to be careful because language in the fire levy may be in conflict with a fee that we would impose on hotel motels to collect.
Yeah. I mean, I think the important distinction, the way that Bridgeport is getting around it, because from my review of the state code regarding the fire fee, municipalities cannot impose a fire fee on a resident or a business that already pays a fire levy fee, right? But what Bridgeport has done does not, in fact, do that. They have specified that the fee is being levied to the transient who is staying there. It's a pass-through. So you're not levying the fee on the hotel. The hotel, it's a pass-through fee.
Okay.
That is from the transient that the hotel is charging. And so
Okay.
therefore you are not charging any resident or business an additional fee on top of what they're already paying for. So, I think they've kind of woven in between some of the language.
Yeah, because you could still be a resident of Fayette County and stay at the Holiday Lodge for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you needed a short-term place to stay, that's a good point. I don't know if they've addressed that in theirs, but all good questions to review.
Yep.
It's similar to with the levy with an MVAs. You are allowed by state code to bill for a motor vehicle accident if it is not a Fayette County resident. So it's somebody that's coming through the county. You know, they wreck on 19, they're from Raleigh County. You can send them a bill.
And I didn't see anything. I read through. I didn't see anything in Bridgeport's that addressed that circumstance. So that's an interesting thought. Well, how do you handle that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So certainly a lot to consider on this.
Chief, do you have?
I concur with what Tyler's research has been very focused. We got information that essentially we found out there were two pieces of legislation that we had been dealing with, and then you put in the idea of Fayetteville was proposing, I think, to put Airbnbs and rentals into their language. And not that we were going to follow that exactly, but in our conversations, we wanted to make sure that what this council was proposing to enact met the safeguard of the state guidelines in regard to instituting this. And we've got good information. I think that this council and the city manager just needs to give Mr. Fowle the direction this council intends to head in regard to what we're going to do, and let him apply it to state code to make sure that we're not violating anything in regard to being attached to the fire levy with Fayette County at this time. Does that create any hurdle that we have to address? And just make sure when we do move ahead to institute this that we're clear with not violating any state code in your adoption. Tyler's done a tremendous amount of research on this.
Well, and I guess to the point regarding short-term vacation rentals, I also did not see anything in Bridgeport's that addressed short-term vacation rentals. And Mr. Harris there, the Fayetteville's attorney, brought up to me that in recent legislation, I don't know how many years ago, it was in the last few years, there was some legislation that was snuck into the home rule section of the state code, and he explained that whole process to me about the passage of that, and nobody really knew that it was happening, but it speaks to short-term rentals and limits what you can restrict of those short-term rentals, and so maybe that's something we can look at in conjunction. You may be familiar with that.
You're referring to zoning there, I believe. Some of that is zoning.
I think it was kind of broad in how it referenced how you can regulate the frequency, the duration of rental property. It's a short paragraph, but it's pretty clear. So I wonder how that plays in with it, if we're even allowed to impose something like this based on the language in that section, if that plays into this. If you even could. Maybe that's why Bridgeport does not address it at all.
And we're not asking you to consider that, but just look at the language at the time where this body wants to head in regard to implementing a fee. We think it's a good idea. I think the council overall does, but we want to make sure that we're taking the strips properly through Mr. Fowle's recommendation.
Yep. Well, I'm not sure, we have a motion on the floor, I think, right now, so just for discussion. I'm not sure I'm in favor of it without being equal to all lodging opportunities in the city of Oak Hill. But I don't want to be unfair to either one. I don't want to be unfair to hotels nor Airbnbs. And if you're going to tax heavier somebody renting a hotel room, that makes Airbnbs more attractive. And I don't think that's up to us to make one more attractive over the other as a lodging opportunity. But that's just right now. I mean, I'm just putting that out there.
And I think that's where we have to have the result of Mr. Fowle's review of this and his interpretation of the state code in regard to the service fee itself.
Right.
But I don't disagree with what you're saying at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else? All right, excuse me, we have a motion to table our hotel tax fire fee discussion, and also a motion that we have our attorney proceed with some more research. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Roger seconded.
Okay. Our number 8 item is an anticipated executive session regarding some potential litigation. May we have a motion to go into executive session, please?
Mayor, I'll make that motion to go into executive session.
We are now in I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor?
Can number 9 be covered in that also while we're there?
Yes. All right. So items 8 and 9 will be covered in this executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in executive session. Thank you. All right, may we have a motion to come back into our regular session from our executive session?
Mayor, I'll make the motion that we return back to regular session from executive sessions on item 8 and 9, and I'd like to add that no decisions were made.
I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion to come back out of, and a second to come back out of our executive session to our regular session. No decisions were made at this time. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. All right, so that should, item number 10 would be our interim city manager employment contract approval.
I'll make a motion that we accept the approval of the interim city manager employment contract.
Second.
We have a motion second that our interim city manager's employment contract be approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Do we have anything for the police department? You want to say anything tonight? Are you good?
I'm good.
Chief Richardson, you good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Josh?
Yeah, I'll give you guys some bullet points for the Park and Rec Department.
All right.
Yeah, just a few items for you here. The street department has made some really great, significant improvements to the drainage within the city park, the ball field area, so that's been great. There have been a few setbacks with the pickleball court construction, but plans are still moving forward. We did host a service project last Thursday with Young Life of Fayette County with volunteers that conducted a litter cleanup at the city park and the White Oak Rail Trail. They also assisted Tommy Canada within the Park and Rec Department to freshen up the restrooms with a new coat of paint, so it looks pretty good down there. Tommy Canada also freshened up the Collins restrooms with some new paint and some minor maintenance repairs to that restroom, so that's good. The concept design for the rail trail trailhead, it is complete, and so we look forward to presenting that to you guys here soon. Perhaps we'll put that on for May. Phase 2 of the Needles Eye Park trailhead design, it is moving forward nicely, and it is possible to see that under construction this fall. In general, we are seeing significant use out of the city park on the weekends, and that is requiring and prompting us to be present to empty trash cans, litter cleanup, and clean restrooms. So we are having to come in on the weekends because of how busy the city park has become. That's all I have for you.
Since Josh is there, my wife and I, we've been walking the trail a lot of the evenings, and that park is packed. It's great. It's awesome. Trail's full. It's a great thing to see. It's a great thing for our city, and I love it. But I have been approached by a couple of citizens that have expressed a concern, maybe somewhat, of some, and they have told me, they said, we see the police coming through here all the time. The police has a heavy presence in there, which is great. But they said at times there's some older style kids there that are kind of hoarding up everything, preventing some of the smaller ones to get on. And I guess I just want to reiterate, we have like an age limit, right?
That play set within the new playground is a 5 to 12 for ages 5 to 12.
Yeah.
I have to laugh because every night is full of teenagers, so
Sure.
they're over 12. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah. So some signage or
Yeah, we could. I can explore either making our own sign or getting a sign from the playground manufacturer that states the age of use for that particular playground equipment. Yeah, we can start.
I think it would be.
sign
I think it
down
would be
there.
good, just so that the people know that
Yeah.
it's there, and those citizens know their concerns have been addressed.
Well, I think we discussed too, maybe we'll put out a message on social media, just kind of reiterating that there are age limits to some of the play equipment. So if we could adhere
Because
to
right
that.
now there's not any, is there, Josh?
Well, nothing is stated, although the playground equipment is designed to be for ages 5 to 12, but we have nothing down there with that statement
Right.
making that official.
I think there is a sticker. They came in at the last
is.
minute and put a sticker. It's not
There-
glaringly
there are
obvious.
small stickers
They're small
on the
stickers.
playground equipment,
Yeah,
yes.
but nothing that stands out, so to speak. So, which is
Nothing
nice
that
that
catches the
teenagers
eye.
want to play on the playgrounds. Maybe we need to look at a teenage playground.
That's right.
Like a Ninja Warrior course or
There's-
something.
They're doing the swings, they're doing the whole 9 yards.
Sure, yeah.
Just, being considerate
Yeah.
to others. And
We'll follow through with that social media post as well as explore some signage and implement that signage.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
May we have a motion to accept our report from our Parks Department?
I'll make that motion.
May we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Josh. You have MS4?
Yes, just one message for MS4. We're getting into mowing season right now. Pretty hot and heavy very quickly. So please do not blow your leaves out into the roads. Do not dump them down storm drains. Do not dump them in the creeks. They'll block storm drains. They'll pollute the creeks and can potentially lead to flooding of certain areas as those drainage avenues get blocked. So please be mindful of that. Put them in the appropriate trash receptacle, or if you have a compost bin at your house, put them in that. Otherwise, dispose of those that yard refuse properly, and do not let them get into the storm system.
So if you see that, who do you report that to?
You can certainly call City Hall and report that to anybody up at City Hall, and we'll put the appropriate personnel onto it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Any council comments? Thank you for that.
Well, I want to thank the chief for the patrols coming through the city park, because I do see that, and I watch for them to go through. It is appreciated by some of the adults down there, because they sometimes feel a little challenged because of the overrun of teenagers and stuff. But I hope they continue that. It's very good. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to thank everybody with the city that was in attendance in regard to our memorial dedication at the fire
Oh,
department.
that was nice.
It was wonderfully attended. We are still gathering names to put on the board. I've gone back as far as the minutes in the early 50s, obtaining names. So we've had several calls and a few names, but it was a wonderful ceremony, and we're so proud of you all assisting us with that. And Josh and Tommy doing the install just did a fantastic job. But thank you all we appreciate you being there that day.
We appreciate the invite.
yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Any other council comments?
I got a question. Do we have any opioid money left? Settlement money? If not, if you don't know, it's not a big deal. I just wonder. And was they supposed to give us more? I think we were, right?
There is
Another
deposit.
installment or
Well,
something coming.
For some reason, I want to say September.
Okay,
I'm not sure,
just curious.
but I can tell you.
Well, while she's looking that up, I'm going to jump down to the announcements. Don't forget the special council meeting to lay the levy, April 21st at 6 p.m. And also Friday night this week, 17th, will be the You Are Not Alone program at the amphitheater, starting at 4, ending at 10. And there will be hot dogs provided by the Oak Leaf Festival Committee.
We got the future agenda items there.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Mayor, what's the future agenda item, the 457 plan?
I hadn't gotten to that yet. I just jumped down to get the announcements out of the way since there was only those two. The future agenda items, we can go ahead and do those. WV 457, the retirement match incentive.
I think that was a lingering item. We had put that on there, I think, potentially after you had, I think it was you that brought that up, Mr. Hanbass.
I thought we had, I thought we'd made a motion to proceed with that.
I thought we had to.
We can.
No.
We discussed it.
I think it was, you hadn't told what you were gonna match, I don't think.
We can look back on that
Okay.
and make
Well,
sure.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, we'll double check and make sure. I don't recall that it was officially voted on.
I thought it was a motion to look into and bring back at the next meeting.
That
And
may
it
have
was
been
one
what
of
it
those
was.
things that got left off of the meeting, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, but I thought I went through the dollar
that
value.
we
I think you did. I think you did.
You did.
Maybe it was a question as to whether it could fit within the budget at the time. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Let me look into that. I'll find out, and if it needs to go back on the agenda for
Okay.
reconsideration, I'll put it
Yeah,
back on there.
I was thinking it was going to need to go back on the agenda for an official vote.
I'll find
I
out.
thought it was finalized.
I thought it
I'm
was
not-
too.
Okay.
It may have been.
We
I
will.
may
We
be
will
wrong.
clarify.
It may
We
have
will
been.
clarify.
Okay. I'll bet you
I
$1.
don't know.
Well, if you're going that far, you're probably right. Then I'm not going to bet you on that one. And then the other item on there is the CVB annual report presentation. Becky Sullivan was not prepared to give that report this month. She's going to plan to come and give that report next month at the May meeting.
Okay.
Did you get anything over there?
No, she's gonna have to go back on the.
It's okay. You don't have to bring that up tonight. You can just
Just let us know some other time.
Yeah, that's okay.
I can email that out
It's
to
not
to
a,
you
yeah.
all.
Email it whenever
It's
y'all
not
get
a
it.
lot.
Yeah. But we were getting more. We were scheduled to get more. So okay, fair enough.
Well, with that being said, that brings us to the very end. May we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's carried. Not even voting. Let's go home. Good night. Thank you.